So Sonic is a name that I recognize from a little bit ago, from a while back. He's definitely been in the community for a while, although I don't necessarily know how many tournaments he's been in. Looks like his ping's a bit rough for me.
Yeah, a little bit rough, but that's why you have
It looks like
warm-up match.
it's evened out a bit. I think we're good now. So yeah, this is the importance of the warm-up match.
He actually claimed in the chat that he had an FPS drop, which could be the case there. That would explain the ping, perhaps.
I don't know much about the other contestant, Manyaa. Calim Manyaa.
I believe he goes by the name Bug.
Interesting.
So I've heard. So if anyone is familiar with that, there you go.
But yeah, so I have very little knowledge of this player beforehand, but that said, he still was top 16, so I assume he'll be very good.
I think based on what I know of both players, this should be a fairly competitive matchup as well. Ooh, looks like Calim actually missed both grapples there. Oh, the one, yeah, both grapples, I suppose, if you count that drop.
No, he's in top 8 King of Speed. Are we talking about Sonic or are we talking about the other one?
I think we're
Calim
talking
Manyaa.
about Calim.
That's pretty good if he was in top 8 King of Speed. So yeah, he clearly is a good player. All right, who picks first? Calim picks first. Oop. What? Wow. So we're starting out with Pitfall. I think this is the third time we've seen this map in this tournament. Pitfall is, I guess it's definitely a fan favorite in the community. But it also usually gives rise to good matches, so it's still a good map.
Yeah, it looks like both players playing about the same so far.
This is really quite a mirror match. They're both playing Cosmo. One's obviously a different color. Playing Pitfall. There's only like I've said before, Pitfall is fairly linear. So, wow, Sonic really, or not Sonic, Calim really getting those grapples very cleanly. That was very nice.
Oh, actually hitting that slope as well,
Yeah,
which I don't think we see players doing very often.
It feels less consistent to me when you hit the slope, so that's why I don't do it.
Yeah, but I think that was what gave him enough speed to come around that corner,
Yeah,
though. Make a comeback.
It was definitely a judgment call, and it definitely worked out for him. But unfortunately, not able to win that round. Going for that rocket snipe, not quite able to get the angle he needs to have it go off properly.
Trying to place the box in the wall as well, which can be very devastating if one is to hit it, but it's also identically easy to dodge.
Yeah, wall boxes are a very interesting thing because like the more you add them, the more complicated the map becomes because you have to dodge the box. But when you only have one or like two, it's usually not so bad. So there's always a give and a take for adding items like that into places like that.
Oh, and it looks like we have Soren hitting that box. It really
Dang, wow, he's really holding
but
on.
it looks like he's coming back potentially here.
Ooh, not quite.
Not exactly, but that was very close. That was way closer than I thought it would be, at least.
Yes, Sonic really managing Wow. My English today, wow. Alright, Sonic was really trying to hold himself in there.
Yeah, now both players are tied. Looks like Calim dodging that shockwave fairly easily there.
Oh, very nice box.
And also getting a nice box in before the turn.
Very clean play, dodged it. You just outsped him the whole, or not outsped him the whole time, outsped him in that part once he messed up, passed him, executed a very well timed box. Very little Sonic could have done there.
Yeah, I would say that was probably more penalizing than any trip would have been there. Just completely destroying speed.
Yeah, boxes are
right before the turn.
Boxes can be very strong. It's always interesting though, because I find that a lot of people who are really good at timing boxes have issues timing bombs. And as I said that, Calim just happened to not barely able to get that, or just barely not able to get that bomb.
Yeah, it looked very close. Potentially some, some ping difference there.
Oh, definitely ping issues. That's the only downside to playing online for this game and having all the peer-to-peer is that everybody has a different internet connection, right? So, unfortunately, matches can be so consistent. And with that, Kalim's gonna take the first game.
The score is up to date as far as I'm aware.
It is indeed up to date. We have only done one match.
Alright, but here we have the second, and should have Sonic choosing a map. Does Calim want to be called something else in the...
Oh yeah, just to clarify, Laboratory was not in the Winter ELO 2018-2019 season, and it introduced a very new mechanic that me and Pop are very not aware of, as well as I'm sure many of the contestants, so we opted to not include it in this tournament.
Yeah, plus there was a bit of confusion as to whether it would be allowed or not, and so at the very last second we, had to make the call.
We're getting into Royale. Royale is it's one of those maps where I really feel like it's kind of its own like subsection. Like if you're really good at Royale, you could still be terrible at every other map. I don't know what it is. It feels so different than so many other maps that are there. Sonic making a very unfortunate mistake, bonking his head on that grapple.
Yeah, that was definitely something he probably didn't want to see happen in the tournament, but could be due to a little bit of nervousness. I do like to say that a lot of these players don't normally make those kinds of mistakes. So
Sonic just barely jumping a little too late there. It jumped off of the slope, lost a lot of his speed. Very unfortunate. Or Sasorn. Sorry if I'm confused. I'm referring to Sasorn as Sonic because that is what his name in Discord is. Very nice grapple. Unfortunately, not actually connecting despite what the visual looks.
What is that?
Very unfortunate for Sonic. Oh, very
interesting round.
That was a very nice jump by Sonic that time. He managed to hit his head off the door and also hit the slope below it, so he gained even more speed than he originally had. And Sonic, even though he was calling it to be 2-0 a second ago, managed to win the round. So even though he claims to have given up, he still got some coming in.
Oh, that ball.
Very fun, very interesting ball. Sonic must have turned around and threw it at the very last second in the previous round. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for him. He ended up just hitting himself.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only reason that ball hit was because we had Sonic waiting. It seemed like he waited a second before starting the round.
Yeah, he did. I feel like if he had just gone, the ball might have. There's a brief moment where when the ball goes over the edge of the staircase, I think that normally like it pops off the staircase, and you can kind of like slide under it when that happens sometimes. Not always though. I find that many of the items in this game can be very inconsistent, and I find that the ball is one of them for sure. So not quite sure what he was hoping for there. Oopsies.
This tends to happen in tournaments.
I'm sorry, I'm used to the old way the game worked, where if you hit random, it just assumed you didn't have a vote. That's not how it works anymore, so that is entirely my fault. I apologize. But with that, we got to see a nice little taunt and an icon, so that's nice.
Yeah, I believe that is the King of Speed top 8 badge. So anyone who got to the final matches in the King of Speed recently acquired that.
But going into Dance Hall is one of the. It's kind of like a one-hit wonder map where the person who made it, he made Dance Hall, and I think pretty much only Dance Hall. But definitely a very strong map in Random Workshop. I personally think it's one of the best ones.
Yeah, there tends to be a lot of interesting plays on this map.
Interesting interaction there.
And there's the two, I would say the two very important, what should I call it, rises, I guess? You go straight up into those tubes
yeah,
on the left and right side of the map, and that tends to determine a lot of the strategy.
Very nice ice beam coming from Soren there. He just barely managed to stop Calim from getting all the way up. And then also to seal the deal, boxed him before he could get into the boost. Very, very solid play. Or strong play, even. So you saw those doors close there a little bit close to our contestants. That's one of the infamous bugs of this map, unfortunately. Sometimes you get locked into the shortcut on the right side.
Yeah, and that would have been unfortunate to see in this game. I'm glad we didn't have to catch that, but I think both players knew approximately the timing for that, and it was pretty unlikely for both of them to get caught.
So one of the other things to note about this map that makes it very interesting is it has a lot of places where you can get items, but you're not necessarily required to get items. Which makes it so that some people opt to try and get more items on the map and take a more spammy approach. And I believe with that, I'm not actually 100% who just won that round. I didn't catch that. Did you?
Oh, that was Calim's win.
Thank you. That's why I had originally
quite a quick match.
And so with that, I believe it is Sanik's pick.
And it looks like we will have Swift Peaks, which I think is a first for today.
Ignore the score, it's currently 3-0. That is my bad.
I would say this is a map that a lot of players do like, but I don't think it comes up as often as some other maps. There's some interesting routes here, such as this double boost, which you see Calim make this first round.
Yeah, that actually requires a bit of a weird maneuver, I guess. You have to slide into the boost tunnel and then unslide pretty much right after you leave the boost. So that way you bonk your head on the wall and go forward rather than go up.
I think that drill just saved Sanik, potentially. He was able to just run through everything pretty much and come back in, especially after making that double boost on the bottom.
Oh, very nice ice beam. I don't know if Calim really could have done much to avoid that.
Yeah, I think that was I think he could have, because it looks like Sanik did not actually make it down the slope. He hit the ground, so if Calim had actually you know, jumped down in time, he could have survived. But even then, he would be so far in the back that it would be difficult to get back in.
For sure, it's always difficult to ice beams, and I want to say like ice beams and boxes can often lead to situations where it's just very hard to really recover. And obviously the other items can as well, but those just tend to happen the most.
Oh, it looks like Sonic missing that tube. Almost getting back in due to Calim clipping the side there at the end.
Just barely not able to come through. Very close, very close.
Wow, that box catching Calim by surprise, I suppose. But it looks like he could come back in here, especially with that double boost.
Just barely. Oh, and he just releases slide a little too early, hits that third box or fourth box, messes up his timing on the grapple. It's a very unfortunate mistake.
Yeah, so I would say so far this is a pretty close game. Yeah, both players taking different routes, but making it all work.
Yeah, it's interesting to note because I think they've both taken a different route pretty much every single time, which just shows you how interesting this map is to run from a player's perspective. Because you're constantly making like in-game decisions about whether you want to be going for an item or speed or what.
What I'm wondering is when Sonic will be able to use that bomb, because I'm sure he's holding on to it for just the right opportunity.
See, I thought he was going to use it there, but evidently not. Sonic must have some grand plan for this bomb. Just barely sliding like under that box. Wow. That was very nice. Very unfortunate for Calim that Sanik managed to do that. Alright, and with that, we're going to be doing we're going to be going into Dash the Night. Dash the Night, one of the more, I don't want to say basic, but simple is perhaps the best way to phrase it, maps. It allows the person running the map to really choose what they're going to do. However, I often find that this map also runs a bit linearly.
Yeah, fortunately it also, I would say it's, in general, it's favored by a lot of high league players just because of how, you know, you basically have all of these pretty precise jumps, quite a lot of speed if you can hit them all, and a couple items as well to make it interesting.
Unfortunately, Sonic, I think, missing the grapple on the right side twice in a row, costing him two rounds there. Very unfortunate mistakes.
Looks like that bomb didn't quite hit there.
So the main places where you'll see route diversity are on that left side. There's a lot of little races you can do against people almost. For instance, if you have if you approach that left side fast enough, then you can block somebody off from taking one of the routes, which often results in a camera kill. But the route that you block off.
Oh, and that rocket.
Very nice rocket
early
from Calim. Very solid play the whole time. Sonic really just made like Calim just capitalized on Sonic's mistakes. He'd make one mistake and end up behind him, and then he would just stay ahead and get a good item. Very strong play.